It's the second race of the day, second race of the season for TCR Spain. And it's markedly different conditions than what we had earlier on. Bright sunshine and nice conditions for the drivers in race one of the weekend. Race two is a rather more soggy looking affair, and the grid is much different for this race. The grid is formed like this for race number two of the weekend. The first 10 places, well, the results from qualifying 2. They ran 2 qualifyings on Saturday. However, the top 10 is flipped and reversed. So the 10th place driver from Quali 2 is your pole sitter for this race. Positions 11 and 12 are also set by Quali 2, but they're not reversed. And then positions 13 back were set by the qualifying 1 order. So a slightly different take on the reverse grid format that you see in some other series, but this has been the norm for a while in TCR Spain. And it has given us a very interesting grid, I reckon. Guillaume Salvadelli will be our pole sitter for this race. And he lines up alongside Giovanni Scamardi on the front row of the grid. So a very different looking row number 1. However, if you were to tell me to suggest my favourite for victory in this one, I look at row 2. I look at Jensen Brickley and his slight off-pace nature. Well, it wasn't even off-pace in Quali 2. He simply only had 1 or 2 laps that didn't get deleted, and while that of course affected him earlier in the day negatively, it now works somewhat in his favour. Starting from 3rd on the grid, Jensen comes from our neck of the woods, from the UK, has therefore got some wet weather racing experience in front-wheel drive cars, a Fiesta Junior champion in the UK, a BRSCC Fiesta champion in the senior category as well in the UK. He's done a lot of front-wheel drive in the rain.
He has indeed, but he's got the small task of fending off the driver who's won the last 3 TCR Spain races around this place, Mike Halder. Well, he did it once today from row number 3, but he switches to the outside of row number 3, of course, for this one. Before we get into the meat of this one, a bit of news from this morning. Not too much changes in terms of from the provisional to the final order. A few drivers with 5-second penalties for causing a collision. So Jensen Brickley moved down to 5th, having finished in the top 3 on the road. Eric Zavala fell down a couple of positions as well to 8th. And the number 34 of Giovanni Scamardi with that moment with Felipe Fernandez also got a 5-second time penalty. 1-second time penalties as well for a couple of drivers, but they didn't change positions. The key thing being the top 2, Halder and Genet, were still as they were from this morning. It's wet though. There's going to be a lot of preparation down on the grid for this one. Let's head down to Izzy Browning.
It is wet. The most obvious statement of the whole day. It is very, very wet down here on the grid. Still raining. Don't feel as though it's got any heavier than just at the end of that 6-hour race, but it is definitely still raining. And there's very different conditions than the TCRs had this morning. If you're just joining us this morning, they had pretty perfect conditions, I have to say. And the skies looked a lot clearer than this. But this is their second race, as Adam's already said, partially reversed grid, and it is going to be the 117 of Guillaume Salvadelli on the pole position, with Giovanni Scamardi in the number 34 alongside him on the front row. But just as Adam was saying, the person that I want to speak to, I hope I'm going to be able to speak to, is the number 246 on P3 of Jensen Brickley. Now, a British driver, so potentially used to this kind of weather? I don't know. We'll have to ask him, but qualifying did not go his way, so the reverse grid gives him the opportunity. Jensen, great to see you. I mean, being a British driver, you're probably quite used to conditions like this, no?
Yeah, saying that, I've actually not done so much in a TCR car in the wet, but we had a good day's testing a couple of weeks ago here in the wet, and I did Friday in the wet obviously as well, so yeah, looking forward to it. I think I'm possibly starting on the right side here because obviously outside for turn 1, but yeah, we'll see. Just try and keep our nose clean on the first lap and go from there.
And I know qualifying was a bit tricky for you with a couple of track limits issues, but a real chance here to pick up a good result.
Yeah, qualifying was really tough. We did a lap which should have put us P4, obviously ended P10, then a few moves with disqualifications and stuff, started P8, P3 in race 1, which we were happy with. Unfortunately, a penalty after the race put us back to P5, but yeah, pushing for the win in this one.
All right, best of luck. Thank you so much for speaking to me. Right, we'll continue back as he puts the window up because, of course, he doesn't want the inside of the car to get too damp, so we'll continue back. I don't think many of the drivers will want to speak to us, given that it's quite wet conditions down here and they do have to either open the door or the window. So I will show you the cars instead. The number 41 of Renee Paulson alongside, just giving a thumbs up to the ladies from TCR, and we will keep continuing back. I know we've already had, I think, the 3-minute board, so we'll be getting on with this very, very shortly. Michael Markussen in the number 18 alongside us now. We're going to see the number 777 of Mike Halder, the race 1 winner from this morning, of course, keeping up his winning streak at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, and you can see the winning cap already being worn on the grid as well. So fantastic to see, and I can bet you that he's going to be hoping to add to that collection of winning caps, and keep an eye out for him because, as I said to him this morning, definitely has pace around here, definitely comfortable around here, and he knows what he's doing around this Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, and of course will want to end the weekend on a high. The rain definitely coming down, I think a little bit heavier now. Cameraman Joe and I are going to be very, very damp by the end of this grid walk, but as I said, of course, Mike Howler, keep an eye out for him. I think he will managed to make his way through. Continuing back on the grid, we've got the number 12 of Ruben Fernandez, and Ruben was the only one of the Fernandez brothers to finish the race this morning. The other two, of course, running into a fair amount of trouble in that race one of the season. These things can happen, and these conditions a lot more treacherous, so definitely going to have to keep an eye out for the other two brothers in this race. I know they will want a lot of redemption for this morning. We will continue back though at the number 81 of Eric Zabala, and Joe, just be a little bit careful because as the teams are wheeling the tyres off the grid, we don't want to get hit by any of the moving trucks. So cameraman Joe just being a little bit careful there. But of course everyone on the wet tyres, as we would imagine, given the fact that it is chucking it down. And this being our final Winter Series race of the season, of our Winter Series tour. And we have some fans who have stayed up in the grandstands. They've come to join us. They've been watching the 6-hour race, and they are staying for this second TCR race of the day. So great to see so many fans, lots of fans giving us a wave up in the grandstands. I think we've got time to just continue back on the grid. We might even get the whole length of the grid. The number 28, Eric Genet, comes next. Eric, of course, he will be on P10 and hoping to move forward. I think with this reverse grid, it could throw up some really interesting things of the drivers who did well this morning moving through. Now, one of those that you do need to be keeping an eye out for is, of course, Ruben Volt. Didn't have a great qualifying, but ended P3 this morning, so we'll be hoping definitely that he can do the same again, able to charge through the field. Let's continue back. The number 45 of Victor Fernandez now comes next. As I said, those two Fernandez brothers didn't finish the race this morning, so hoping to right some wrongs. And then it comes the number 20 of Sebastian Tom next on the grid. Demir Eroge as well in the number 5 car, and great to see so many cars. Of course, if you were with us this morning, I spoke to Gabriel Alonso, the promoter of TCR Spain, and he was saying to me that they're expecting more cars at the next few rounds. But fantastic to see a nice full grid of cars for the first weekend of TCR Spain, and they've certainly put on some great action for us so far. I think we are going to get all the way to the back of the grid, so fantastic for our final grid walk to be able to show you the entire length of the grid. The number 38 of Tom Poussier alongside, and as we're coming to the final rows of the grid, the number 33 of Samuel Schelling, and this is the car that I was just talking about, the number 27 of Ruben Volt. Of course, didn't have the qualifying that he wanted to, starting further back on the grid, but managed to charge through this morning, and he's starting at the back this afternoon, I should say. So anything can happen during this race, and it is going to be a little bit of a game of survival, I have no doubt. And we have managed to reach the entire length of the grid. So we will give you one final look down the grid, and we will head to this race.
The second race of the season, the third and final race of the day overall, but TCR Spain is going to be underway for its final race of the weekend in just a few moments, and it is going to be a compelling battle with the reverse grid, partial reverse grid for this one. Guillaume Salvadelli, as we saw, is our pole sitter for this race in the number 117 car. He will be looking to get a good launch in the Audi alongside Giovanni Scamardi in his Cupra Leon, the number 34 car from that team. In third place is Jensen Brickley in the number 246 machine. That is the number 246 from Monlau Competition. René Paulsen is next in fourth position. The number 41 from TPR Motorsport. Mikael Markussen is in fifth place in his number 18 car, the Markussen Motorsport car. Does a lot of work on that car himself. Mike Halder is sixth in the other TPR machine, as we already alluded to. He won from fifth earlier on, becoming the driver with the most wins in TCR Spain history along the way. Ruben Fernandez in seventh position, the number 12 car, one of the RC2 machines, alongside Eric Zabala, the number 81 from Monlau. RC2's Felipe Fernandez in ninth. Eric Genet in 10th on the grid. He was on pole earlier. He'll have some work to do if he wants to be at the sharp end in this race. Victor Fernandez in another RC2 Honda alongside Sebastien Thom, the Team Claret car, another of the Audis. Demir Eruge in 13th position. That is one of the ALM Motorsport cars. Bizarrely, in 13th place, the leading ALM Motorsport car. That doesn't happen much in TCR competition. Vinesh Shunka in 14th position. That is another Team Claret entry. Tom Poussier for SP competition in 15th place. He is alongside the number 33 of Samuel Schelling from Team Claret Sport. In 17th and 18th place, it's an all ALM Honda, row number 9. Ruben Volt in the number 27. Sten Dorian Pirimagi rounding out the 18 cars that take the start in this race. These cars, Andrew, I think in the last 90 minutes, 2 hours, will have been very hastily softened by their teams. Anti-roll bars adjusted as soft as possible. Just trying to get these cars to be as compliant as possible for their drivers. It's a big test for the teams. It's a huge test for the drivers, having to jump into this wet race. Going into the second race of the day. Of course, we've seen on the radar that it was going to rain later in the afternoon into the evening, but you don't really make those adjustments in that direction until you see it, because if you follow the radar exclusively, you'll find yourself wrong quite often.
Particularly here at Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, but the rain has fallen. It's set in now for the rest of the afternoon. This will be a 25-minute plus 1 lap race. I'm particularly anxious in a way for turn 5. We saw some thrills and spills into turn 5 this morning, Adam, and that was in the dry. That was in good conditions, better conditions than what the drivers have now. The grid forming up row by row, all 18 cars. The marshals cars, the medic cars, round at the back of the field. We are all set to go for the second race of 2025 in TCR Spain.
It was a very exciting start to the season less than 8 hours ago when the TCR Spain 2025 season began in earnest. 2021 champion Mike Halder won the first race. Let's see what happens in race 2. It's a good start from Rene Paulsen. Paulsen from the second row of the grid absolutely nailed the launch. He will lead on the way down to the first corner by a country mile. In second position, it's Jensen Brickley. In third place, looks like it'll be Scamardi, although Mike Halder is around the outside of him for third place. A mirror of what he did in the dry conditions earlier on today. Third position for him, one of the RC2 Civics. I think that was Ruben Fernandez going sideways, coming out of turn 2. Looks like all 18 cars have at least made it to turn 3, not all of them staying on the track in the process. But it is Rene Paulsen that leads for the time being. But here comes Halder to second at the expense of Brickley. Will it be to the lead at the expense of Rene Paulsen in the next couple of corners? Teammates, lest we forget, from TPR. But here comes Brickley, third to first in a matter of seconds, and Halder gets the inside line for the exit of turn 5. The lead has switched about 5 times in a kilometre here on the first lap of the race at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, and it'll change a couple of more times yet.
This is what we want to see. This is the battle that I thought would occur before the start of this race. The Briton used to these conditions. Mike Halder with the strong record. Round this. Oh, they're off. They're both off. They're off into the gravel on driver's left out of turn 9. The battle is over. They're out of the race. And through back into the lead will go Rene Paulsen. What happened there? Brickley spins his front wheels. That's dug in. That's going no further. And coming through now is the number 28 of Eric Genet. Genet, who's never won a TCR Spain points race, has gone from 10th on the grid to lead at the end of lap 1. But we have a safety car.
What a first lap of the race. It is Genet from 10th to 1st, as you just said. Scamardi remains in second place, bizarrely, in all of that. He was second on the grid. He was about 5th at one point. Now he's back to P2. In third place, from 18th on the grid. No, he's a little bit further back, sorry. That's tricked me for a minute. Michael Markussen is in third. Eric Zabala is in fourth. Ruben Fernandez 5th. Rene Paulsen down to 6th place after fighting for the lead. Then it's Piramagi and Volt in 7th and 8th. So the back row of the grid are now up 10 places themselves as well. I believe that as the safety car picks up the 16 cars that remain, we can take a look at what happened between Jensen Brickley and Mike Halder. They were side by side coming up the hill towards turn number 9. And when they emerge, I suspect they emerge having already made contact. Yes, Brickley was on the inside, Halder was on the outside. From that angle, it's difficult to know who was really the guilty party. But fairly clear there. It wasn't individual mistakes. Contact between the two of them at the turn-in point. And they're both out of the race.
And that means that we're going to get, because Ignacio Montenegro not here, of course, this weekend, we're going to potentially get a new winner, at least in terms of from last year's results. Jensen Brickley, who won in Valencia, and Halder with a double when we were here last year, or TCR Spain was here last year for the season finale. Halder won this morning, of course. Could it be Eric Genet's day? Didn't have a great start to race number 1, but he fought back strongly after the first safety car period in that race this morning. If you did miss it this morning, don't worry, you can go back and watch it at your leisure. Free of charge on your platform of choice. 21 minutes to go in this one. We are under safety car at the moment, so it's Genet from Scamardi, Markussen, Sabala, Ruben Fernandez, Rennie Paulson. Poor Rennie Paulson lost the lead, got the lead back again, but emerged at the end of the first lap in 6th. The driver who's, I think, still sporting some of the colours from when he represented Denmark at the FIA Motorsport Games up in Valencia at the back end of 2024 in the TCR events. But keep an eye on Rennie Paulson there. We've seen him start quickly once already. Will he be able to do so when we get restarted? It's probably still going to be another lap or two before we get to that point. You can see the safety crews are out and addressing the stranded 246 of Jensen Brickley. The Cupra Leon has had a really, really tough weekend, and the positive of having a decent starting slot from the reverse grid after that torrid qualifying yesterday by his lofty standards. He will leave this first weekend of the season. He won't score any points in this race, of course. Let's have a look at the replay of the start and try and work out how on earth Rennie Paulson got through to the front of the field. So this is looking from the reverse. Ruben Volt, and yeah, just got the traction, got the shot straight into the middle of the circuit and picked his way through, Adam.
Yes, and then keep an eye out for the Seat, or the Cupra, as I should say, driven by Eric Genet. He was already up to about 6th place before they got to the first corner. He again had a very good launch, like some of those around him, made up places and then picked the bones as everybody else had troubles on the first lap of the race. That scarcely could have gone better for Eric Genet. You heard us say it on the first lap, not won a points-paying race before. He won a pre-season event in 2024 at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia. He's yet to clinch the top step in a championship round of TCR Spain. He could be on the verge here. Giovanni Scamardi is behind him for SP Competition. He raced last year in TCR Europe and the French Touring Car Series with SP. The Belgian from Charleroi won 2 races in the TCR class in the French series last year. So he's a proven winner in the TCR category also. And then Michael Markussen, he also, of course, is a proven winner for Markussen Racing, a 4-time race winner in TCR Denmark with his own team. Before that, he has won races in the Michelin Le Mans Cup in LMP3 machinery. He's done a lot of GT and touring car racing out in his native Denmark and general Nordic region. Very, very strong drivers at the front. And then, of course, Eric Zabala there in 4th place, the other of the 2 sharp end inhabiting Monlau Motorsport Cupras. Of course, the only 2 left after Jensen Brickley has found himself in the gravel. Eric Zabala, always a force to be reckoned with, has been a champion before in the Cup class of TCR Spain, and was winless last year in TCR Spain, but 6 podiums. He knows how to get good results in the series, and a good result is definitely on the horizon for him if he continues in 4th place, and indeed if he can move further up the order. Looks like we'll have at least 1 more lap under safety car. We're still very much in the process of recovering those machines up at turn 9. And Eric Genet, I think, in a sense, will appreciate this cool-down time, because I'm sure that first lap was indescribably hectic, and now he can take some stock of the situation, plan his moves as the race resumes, and yeah, just get that heart rate down a little.
Yes, the conditions are very different, but I wonder how much did Eric Genet learn from the second safety car restart in the dry conditions behind Mike Halder this morning, because Mike Halder got it absolutely spot on both restarts, which was the coming out of turn number 12. That was the point at which he put the hammer down to stretch the field out through 13 and 14. Now, as I say, that was in dry conditions, but I wonder if Eric Genet will go for a similar approach again. We'll, of course, go for at least one more safety car lap whilst the work continues safely and soundly at turn number 9. If you're just joining us, second race of the weekend, final race of the weekend for TCR Spain, their first round of their 2025 season. We've already had drama. Jensen Brickley and Mike Halder, who were the favourites for this race based on where they were on the grid. Brickley on the second row, pretty used to these conditions and front-wheel drive machinery in these conditions. Mike Halder, fresh off his win this morning, having won the last 3 TCR Spain races here at Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, of course stretching back to last season. They are out of this race, and this is a properly open debate now for who's going to take the win and who's going to get themselves on the podium. I'm also going to sing the praises, Adam, of Ruben Fernandez, probably the only Fernandez who was happy at the end of race number 1. He had a good start as well and managed to take, just before the safety car came out, the lead in the Masters category. The Masters category new for this year, if this is your first time watching TCR Spain or just needing a bit of a reminder, it's for drivers in the year of their 45th birthday or more, and Ruben Fernandez getting a good start. I also wonder about the start, Adam, whether it wasn't a particularly good start for the pole sitter Savoldelli, and I wonder if everybody else on that left-hand side of the grid kind of just got a bit bulked by all of that. I just should note that it's like Genet, starting on the opposite side of the grid. Those are the guys who all seem to have come forward in general.
Yeah, the odd exception to that rule, but I do think that stack up is a good point. I think that is more or less what happened there. Now let's see what's going on up at turn 9 this time around, because that is going to be the indicator as to whether we're about to go back to racing conditions or not. It looked like those cars were rather stubbornly stuck in the gravel. They're just now being rolled away. It would be bold to call the safety car in this lap. You see Mike Halder there recovering back to the pits, but he will not be able to continue in this race. Per my understanding of the regulations, Mike Halder going from a winner earlier on to not registering a finish, sadly, in this race. So we haven't had a safety car in this lap bulletin yet, which is a shame because the incident has all but been cleared, but I think it was a bridge too late for that Cupra to be withdrawn for this lap. So one more lap behind the safety car. It is a Cupra 1-2, albeit from different teams behind the safety car at the moment, and that 34 car being pedalled by Giovanni Scamardi. You can see him trying to get some temperature into the tyres in that SP competition car. The VZ Cupra, the slightly older Cupra Leon competition, is also running out there with Tom Poussier at the wheel, as Mike Halder is indeed withdrawn from the race. TPR Motorsport with just one dog left in the fight, and that is Rene Paulsen in 6th position.
Is indeed. So lights still on the safety car. When they go out, that will indicate that we'll be going back to racing a bit early in the lap, of course, for the safety car lights to be turned out. But this will be a point of proceedings where the drivers will need to start thinking about getting heat into their tyres, heat into their brakes, of course, as well. That long run down to turn 1 once we go back to green is going to be imperative for the drivers in what will effectively be a half-time race. Just hearing in our ears as well that the rain is subsiding in terms of its intensity. It's still going to be wet out there. We've gone past the main warmth of the day. The shadows, well, if the sun was out, the shadows will be getting a bit longer. It's 5:45 local time here at Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. Just a bit of housekeeping as well. Adam, not a surprise to see that the incident between cars 246 and 777 is under investigation and will be further investigated after the race.
And heated discussions in the TPR Motorsport garage until that investigation. So, just to also mention, of course, we did briefly allude to Ruben Fernandez being the only happy Fernandez last time out. That's, of course, because both Felipe and Victor ended up in the gravel trap last time. They have a chance to rectify that here. Now, we did briefly have safety car in this lap out on our screen, and the lights are now out. So we are going to go racing this time by, which means that Eric Genet is now stacking up the field, and some not expecting the stack up quite at that intensity. When will Genet pull the pin? Will it be coming out of turn 12 in the acceleration zone? We've seen that a few times, especially from drivers who wait and slow the field down this much. Does he feel like he's got the pace advantage through 13 and 14 and Scamardi, and then can try and use that to build himself a gap before the racing resumes? He's still waiting. Now he goes, and that was quite cleverly done there by Genet. I think faked Scamardi into thinking there was a bit of a tyre weave going on there to build some temperature, but instead he guns it, and Eric Genet leads them across the line with less than 10 minutes left to go, plus 1 lap once the clock hits 0. We are back underway and racing. It's Scamardi in second place, a big wall of spray as the cars head down the main straight towards the first corner. Mikael Markussen challenging for second place. Scamardi going defensive, and that's great news, of course, for Eric Genet, because that means he can drive off unabated at the front of the field. Watch out, though, for those ALM cars. They've already gotten past Paulson, and they're going to continue making upward moves.
They are indeed. It's a good start there from Eric Genet, who's managed to break away, even though that Scamardi's got a lot of experience, regular runner in TCR Europe and TCR France last year. But he just held on a little bit longer, didn't he? We were expecting him to go off the apex of turn 12. He waited, he made that little move and got the jump. Markussen looking down the inside into turn 5. Scamardi shuts the door round the outside there. Ruben Fernandez looking to gain more positions, having a good battle with Eric Sabala in the number 81. But it's Eric Genet who leads in the early stages after the restart. 8.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go here in Barcelona through turn 9. This is where it all kicked off on the first lap between Halder and Brickley to cause that safety car. Field getting a bit spread out in the second half of the order. Here's a challenge though for second place. Markussen looking keen to take that position away from Scamardi.
Yeah, side by side for second place, and behind you've got Ruben Fernandez fighting every inch of the way with Sten Dorian Piramagi, and Piramagi has gotten through into 5th place. Around the outside goes Markussen at turn 12 for P2, and he has the traction even with the gravel, but then again going wide through turn 13, using that wet line to the full advantage. I thought he'd maybe slightly overdone it there at turn 13, but no, perfect driving there from Mikael Markussen. He is up into second place, and we joke about the Brits being good in the wet. The Danes have their share of wet conditions as well, as I believe that might have been Demir Iroge into the gravel in the back of shot. It was one of the ALM Civics. It was Demir Iroge for the second race in a row. Finds himself in the gravel, and this time I think that might need intervention from the safety car. Previously, of course, they covered Iroge's issues on yellow flags, as it is Piramagi into a spin down at turn 3. 2 ALM cars into the gravel in as many corners. Effectively, the yellow flags are out on the screen briefly there, and the safety car is declared. It was, I believe, Zabala making contact there with Piramagi. They were fighting it out over 4th and 5th position after Piramagi got past Ruben Fernandez. Contact between the two of them. Iroge in the gravel at turn 14. Turn 3, unfortunately, the final resting place for the number 237 of Sten Dorian Piramagi.
Not been the kind of weekend that ALM Motorsport would have expected here for the start of the season in TCR Spain. I think on balance, it's the right call to bring out the safety car again. The difference between the Iroge spin in the first race and this one is, at least at turn 10, you've got a very long sight line down into that braking zone to slow drivers down when they covered it with double waved yellows. It's the tricky bit with turn 14. It comes so quickly after you've just navigated turn 13. And of course, with the wet conditions, on balance, I do agree with that call. It's a shame, of course, because we go into a neutralised race situation again. It's a shame as well for Eric Genet, because he'd done such a brilliant job with that restart. All of that work at least has kept him in track position, but the advantage that he had of nearly 3.5 seconds in a moment is gone.
Evaporated, absolutely right. 5 minutes and 15 seconds plus 1 lap left to go, and Iroge being pulled out of harm's way at turn 14. The same process will be going on. We saw a pickup truck being scrambled towards turn number 3 in the back of the shot a few corners ago as well. So with any luck and with the proficiency of these Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya marshals, I've no doubt that we will go racing again. But how many laps? I think we'd be lucky to have more than 2 at this juncture of the race. It might even be 1. And I tell you what, Markussen, he is not someone I'd want behind me in these conditions. With his level of experience, he's a canny racer. He was racing Formula 4 Denmark over a decade ago now and finishing runner-up in that series. It was also a part of one of my favourite championships, the Danish Thundersport series, which was basically Trans Am 2, TA2 before that was a thing, over on the other side of the Atlantic. He was a runner-up there in 2016. So a long racing resume that's crossed many different cars. And in this situation, I just think that, you know, he's had it all happen to him at least once. Eric Genet, of course, has his uncle, has his father to sponge from in terms of racing experiences. But this is all still relatively new to this young man. Only jumped into touring cars last year, was previously in Formula Machinery. Yes, F4 does often prepare you well for safety car restarts. We can't pretend that's not the case. But Mikael Markussen strikes me as the danger man right now.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think it's that added experience that Eric Genet, and also the fact that because when we said this similar kind of thing when we had the second safety car this morning for Mike Halder, now he did just go and do the repeat of what he did first time around. We are going to get safety car in this lap. Brilliant work from the safety crews there to get us going again. We might get 3 laps in here, Adam, 2 on time and then the +1 lap. Michael Markussen will have read and seen the little trick that Eric Genet pulled there. He'll be ready for that one this time. He's obviously started a little bit further back on that first one, but he'll have seen the sight of Eric Genet just pulling into the middle of the track and then bolting it. So what does Eric Genet do this time? Does he go back to the conventional? Does he go, you know what, right, they're not expecting me to go straight off of turn 12 this time. I'll give it a go. Safety car lights are out, 2 minutes and 30 on the clock. I think we're just going to be the far side of time to get 2 laps in on time, but we will of course have the +1 lap. And now Genet goes through the routine again. Adam, back it up, make sure that he's got the field under his control and look to spin them into a bit of a web of confusion when he goes to the loud pedal.
I need to check my TV guide. I thought that NASCAR Las Vegas was on a bit later on. However, 2 to go. Overtime, this feels like, except, of course, if we don't get to the flag, the race will end. 2-lap dash for the cash then, with Eric Genet in the lead. Michael Markussen is waiting in the wings, and he does it again. Eric Genet pulls the same move a second time. Not quite as successful for my money, but still works out nicely for him. Genet crosses the line. 2 to go at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. 2 laps between the son of a touring car legend and his first championship point scoring victory in TCR Spain. But he has Mikael Markussen right on his back as they approach the first corner. The Honda driver got a great run out of the first corner. He's not afraid of using the very outer extremities of each and every turn. There's so much rubber laid down on the racing line from the 6 hours of Barcelona that just took place here. Using those outer lines is absolutely the way forward, and Mikael Markussen, oh boy does he know it.
He does indeed. My heart skipped a little bit for Janae there because he got on the brakes and just drifted onto the pit exit line there. Thought that was going to cause him some problems, but he dealt with it very nicely. Markussen is all over the back of Janae here into turn 5. This is where we've already seen Markussen pull a move, but that's good positioning from Janae. Can he get the car turned? Markussen's got a good cut back there. Has got to go across the racing line at some point. They're going to be side by side, door to door mirror. Good shutting of the door again from Eric Janae. He's passing these tests, the youngster, at the moment, Adam, but there's going to be more to come. He checks across again to block the line for Markussen out of turn number 8. It's going to be close, though. There's still, in these conditions, a number of opportunities for Markussen to pounce.
There are still home fans in the stands, even with these torrid conditions. Eric Janae is from round these parts. I wager he slept in his own bed last night. And there are still only 5 Spanish drivers in the championship for this weekend. Him, his Monlau teammate Zabala, and the 3 Fernandez brothers. The fans here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya want to hear their anthem at least once this weekend in TCR Spain, the biggest touring car championship in this country, and they've got one more lap to wait it out and one Danish man who's ready to try and spoil the party. We've got one more lap to go as they come across the start-finish line at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. It is Felipe Fernandez in 3rd position. Scamardi is in 4th. In 5th place from the very back of the grid is Ruben Volt. He's had another good race, albeit a race that he never really wanted to have to perform from the back of the grid. He's pressuring Scamardi for that 4th position. I think he might have him around the outside at the first corner. They're side by side, in fact, for 4th place in the back of shot there as they run through turn 3, and he has to be wary about Ruben Fernandez. Fernandez actually goes all the way around the outside of him. Ruben Volt ends up losing out when he was trying to gain, and here comes Markussen. Markussen has got the run going to turn 4. I think he took a wide berth at turn 3. He's now got the outside line for turn 5. If they even get there, both of them loose. Janae on the grass. Janae now with the inside on dirty tyres. Markussen tries to cut his nose across to get the inside for 6 and 7, but Janae covers it off for the time being. Half a lap to go here in TCR Spain. Can Janae hold on? Markussen saw what happened earlier on between Brickley and Holder. He's going to wait, I think, for the run towards turn 10. The last great opportunity for overtaking on this lap. 11, 12, 13, 14. It can be done, but it's hard to do it. Let's see if Markussen can make it work. They run towards 10. Janae is comfortably ahead. For now, at least. He just needs 4 flawless corners now to take the win, and take the win he might just. Turn 12 for the Monlau competition driver, the Cupra Leon VZ. He's yet to do it with points on the line after winning that pre-season race in Valencia in 2024. We all thought it was coming last year in the main championship. He's had to wait one last Christmas, and it's going to feel like Christmas all over again for Eric Janae as he claims his first main season victory in TCR Spain. Markussen takes 2nd. Felipe Fernandez leads his brother Ruben Fernandez home. Ruben Volt in 5th place. Then Giovanni Scamardi in 6th position. He lost out in a big way on the final lap. Zabala takes 7th. Paulsen takes 8th position. Tom in 9th. And Victor Fernandez rounding out the overall top 10. Just 14 finishers in that race ultimately. But my, oh my, that is touring car racing in the wet conditions. The TCR Spain season has had a magnificent first day.
And that was a drive beyond the maturity of Eric Genet's years. That was all of the family training. He was so strong in the second half of the course, and that was my thought of onto the final lap. Is like, he's got this, he's got the gap. Marcussen on the flip side was so quick in the first half of the circuit, but the tenacity of Genet when he was under that pressure to keep it pinned, keep it round the outside into the grass at times as well, coming out of turn number 4, because he knew, he'd seen from the lap before, if I'm still in the lead coming off of turn 9, this is my race. Executed brilliantly by Eric Genet through 2 safety car periods from 10th on the grid, let's not forget. What a drive.
10th to 1st in 1 lap, and he defended it magnificently from there. That was the race of Eric Genet's young career. I doubt it's his only win of his career. Probably not his only win of the TCR Spain season. However, it might go down as one of the most dramatic of his career, even if a lot of the drama came in the first 2 minutes. Brilliant stuff from Eric Genet from Monlau. They claim their first win of the season. A win apiece for Honda and for Cupra this weekend. Cupra, rather fittingly here in TCR Spain, has the most victories of any manufacturer in this category, and that record, of course, doesn't shrink any compared to Honda, since it was 1 win apiece this weekend. Glory for Eric Genet. The scenes when he won the pre-season race in 2024 at Valencia, I had the pleasure of being there for that one as well, and it was really quite a magic moment to see him and his father embracing. I believe Jordi Genet is here as well this weekend, and the Monlau team is going to celebrate with their young man. 18 years of age is Genet. And as my colleague Andrew Mather said, maturity and a measured approach well beyond his years. Of course, he has been in paddocks probably for longer than he could say the word paddock. And certainly, Mikael Marcussen is happy with that as well. He intimated to me that he's not sure if he'll do the full season. I think he might now. But look at Eric Genet. The delight is plain to see for Marcussen, for Genet. Everyone in that top 3 is absolutely delighted. And surely you can see why. There's Padre. Everyone at Monlau will be happy for Eric. Of course, Jensen Brickley's side of the garage will have a bittersweet feeling. It's not their man on the top step after that collision while fighting for the lead with Mike Halder on the first lap. But it's still a great weekend for Monlau. Felipe Fernandez greeting the team there as well. Of course, RC2 getting a car on the podium there with Felipe, and 2 cars in the top 5 since Ruben followed him home in 4th. Incidentally, of course, Ruben Fernandez winning the Masters class in 5th overall. And Eric Genet also claiming the junior trophy with his victory in this race overall. Ruben Fernandez, as I said, the Masters winner. Rene Paulsen, who was 8th overall, took 2nd in that classification ahead of Victor Fernandez in 10th place. That's a new initiative for this year, broadening the horizons, broadening the customer base for TCR Spain. Of course, the Gen 1 cars also have a home in the Cup class. And we are anticipating a few entries from the Cup class for future rounds of the season. I think we'll be well over 20 cars for much of the year here in TCR Spain. The category is really going from strength to strength here in Spain in recent times, and hopefully it will continue to do so across Europe and other shores as well in 2025. Eric Genet there celebrating his win, and we'll no doubt hear from him in the near future with Izzy. And I'm sure, as it was last year when he was talking to Chris McCarthy down at Valencia, it will be an emotional experience chatting to Eric Genet here. And I understand Eric is now with Izzy. And let's hear from the newest winner in TCR Spain.
Yes, I am indeed down here with the newest winner in TCR Spain, Eric Genet. Eric, congratulations. What a chaotic race, first of all, and what a last 2 laps as well.
Yeah, it was a very difficult race to manage, but we did great. At the beginning, we started P10, and then the first lap we were P1, so a very good start. But we managed to go through the safety car as best as possible without damaging a lot the tires, and we did a great restart, and we could have a gap and escape ourselves.
And talk to me about that final lap, because there was a lot of pressure on your shoulders, but you just kept it cool, kept it calm.
Yeah, they tried to push me off the track, some incidental race, but we managed to keep on the track. We managed to keep on the P1. We defended with everything. So thanks to Cupra with the incredible car they did, because we managed to win this race.
And incredible celebrations down here with your family and your friends. How much does this mean to you?
It means a lot, because we raced it last year here in Barcelona, and we did a very good race. We had an incredible pace, but problem in quali couldn't let us show that pace on the front group. So it means a lot with my family, my friends, everyone to support me. So it's an incredible feeling, and thank you to everyone who's here.
Well, congratulations. Go and enjoy the podium, our newest winner in TCR Spain.
Thank you very much, Izzy. Eric Genet is a TCR Spain winner, and our first weekend in the TCR Spain category has wrapped up with a magnificent spectacle. It was a mighty launch off the line from René Paulsen. He was the early race leader in the TPR Civic, and it was an equally impressive start from 10th to 6th for Eric Genet, but he wasn't done moving through the order just yet. Jensen Brickley was an early second place. Mike Halder followed him through in 3rd place at the expense of Giovanni Scamardi, who was our front row starter. Jensen Brickley moved into the lead at turn number 5, drifted out wide. That rather stalled the momentum of René Paulsen. It was then he and Halder for the lead going up to turn 9. Unfortunately, it ended in contact. Both cars beached in the gravel. The safety car out after just 1 lap of racing. And who was in the lead at the end of the first lap? The man who started 10th, Eric Genet, worked his way through the dramas and moved into the race lead. It was Genet from Scamardi as the race restarted. Mikael Markussen was on the case though in 3rd position, and the experienced Dane ran all the way around the outside at turn 12. Didn't quite get his car all the way clear for turn 13, so he went all the way around the outside again. And on the second time, it proved to be the formula. But another late safety car, 2 cars in the gravel. Unfortunately, both Piramagi and Eroge from ALM ended up beached. The race resumed with just 2 laps left to go, and it was Genet versus Markussen at the front. Some good battling going on further behind as well, but Eric Genet was in full defensive mode. It was a 100-mile-an-hour game of chess at the front of the field, and Eric Genet held the king piece as it turned out. Ruben Fernandez moved his way through the field as the last couple of laps unfolded. He would ultimately finish in 4th place, as well as winning the Masters class. And on the last lap of the race, it looked like Markussen had done enough. They collided though, coming out of turn 4 side by side between Genet and Markussen. By hook or by crook, Genet kept the car just about straight. He had the inside line for turn 5. He mastered the final half lap of the race, and he crossed the line to win for the first time where it counts for points in TCR Spain. He greeted his father, his friends, his family, and his team. And he will now move into the rest of the TCR Spain season with a great deal of momentum. Monlau Motorsport, Eric Genet is your winner. Markussen Racing with Mikael Markussen, the close-knit family team, taking a great second place. RC2's Felipe Fernandez rounds out your podium ahead of Ruben Fernandez in 4th place. Ruben Volt in 5th place for ALM Motorsport, the only car from that team left standing by the end. Giovanni Scamari in 6th position ahead of Eric Zabala. Rene Paulsen in 8th position for TPR Motorsport in a race of ups and downs for him. Sebastian Thom in 9th place for Team Claret Motorsport. And RC2 Racing Team's Victor Fernandez rounding out the overall top 10. Savoldelli took 11th place ahead of Schunker, Shalene, Poussier. And those were the only cars that got to the flag. Piramagi, Aroge, Jensen Brickley and Mike Holder all failing to finish and bringing out safety cars. But none of that could affect Eric Genet. The podium celebrations are ready for one more time this weekend. Let's go down to Andrew Mather.
Welcome everybody to the second and final podium of the weekend for TCR Spain, and what a dramatic race we had to culminate things here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. We start, of course, with our overall podium. Please welcome out in 3rd place for RC2 Racing from Spain, Felipe Fernandez. In 2nd place for Markussen Racing, flying the flag for Denmark, it's Mikael Markussen. And taking his first points race victory in TCR Spain, holding his nerve for Monlau Motorsport. Your race 2 winner from Spain is Eric Genet. Please welcome as well, representing the team, Maria from Monlau Motorsport. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, please be upstanding for the national anthem of the race winner. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome out onto the podium for the final time this weekend our trophy presentation team. Gabriel Alonso, President of the Organising Committee for TCR Spain. Maria Lanzon, the Director General of Rivazza, the promoter. And Juan Luis Santamaria, the track manager and member of the directorship here at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya.
Con el señor Gabriel Alonso, presidente del comité organizador del TCR Spain, que va a entregar su trofeo a su segundo clasificado desde Dinamarca con el Honda Civic, Michael Markussen. Y al señor José Luis Santamaría, director del Circuit de Catalunya, la encarga de donar al trofeo al guanyador now líder, sur de Barcelona, como líder desde las horas de la mañana. Aquí a Eric Genet. Ahí está el señor Gabriel Alonso, presidente del comité organizador, para entregar al equipo. El Monlau Motorsport recoge el premio María. ¡Enhorabuena!
Great scenes on the podium for receiving the trophy award. We'll also bring out the junior trophy as well. Eric Genet, not only race winner, will receive the award for the top junior performer in the field. And it'll be presented by Gabriel Alonso, the president of the organising committee for TCR Spain.
Nos faltaría el máster. Vamos con el vencedor del apartado de máster, o del otro aquí con el número 12, Rubén Fernández.
And your master winner here for race 2. Give a big hand for driver number 12 for AC2 Racing, Rubén Fernández.
Josep Luis Santa María, director de circuit de Catalunya, será la entrega al vencedor del apartado máster TCR Spain, el club Rubén Fernández, vencedor.
The trophy presented to Rubén Fernández by Juan Luis Santa Maria, the track manager and director here for the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya. I think there's only one more order of business, of course, at the end of a great first weekend for TCR Spain. Drivers, teams, it's time for the champagne!
Big on! Durante toda la última volta, ahí está ese champagne al cava dels campions. Recordem a Eric Genet, que s'ha portat la victòria, Michael Marcussen a la segona posició i Felipe Fernández Gil como tercero, la segunda y última prueba de este fin de semana de la TCR Spain.
A great way to finish things here in Barcelona. For now, though, on your broadcast around the world, let's pass to some of the highlights of this 2025 Winter Series season.
As we reach the end of the 2025 Winter Series this weekend, what better way to end the season than to catch up with some of our faces from around the paddock and ask them for their highlights of the season to capture the essence of what makes this Gedlick Racing Winter Series paddock so special.
Hey, my name is Thomas Andersen, and this year I'm doing the GT Winter Series. It's a fantastic series. We are having a lot of fun. And I would say, you know, the highlight of this pre-season series has been the 6 hours race in Portimao, and I for sure hope we are going to do it once again in Barcelona in the 6 hours race. We are looking forward to that and hope to see you all here Sunday in the sunny weather in Barcelona.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm the official series photographer for Gedlick Racing, and my highlight of the season has been Kabir Anurag in the last Formula Winter Series race, because he didn't realize he won, and we were all talking to him for a solid minute that he won, and the sheer realization he had in that moment and the joy was beautiful to see and to capture.
Hello, my name's Andrew Mather. I'm part of the commentary team here for the Winter Series. My highlights of 2025 so far, got to be working with a brand new team and on track that spectacular third race at Aragon for the Formula Winter Series.
Hello guys, this is Andrea and Camilla from Mick Food. We are the hospitality of the Winter Series with Gedlick. Our highlight of the season was the 6 hour of Portimao, where we enjoy really a lot with the first 6 hour of Gedlick. Thank you, and follow us on Instagram on MickFood01.
My name is Mart Hilgenberg, and I am the marketing manager of Gedlick Racing, and therefore also the marketing manager of all the racing series we have. My highlight of the season, definitely the growth of our racing series, of our products, and also of the whole season that we have put on this year. The overall image of the series is getting bigger and better, and that's definitely a highlight for me.
Hi, my name is Kieran. I've been working behind the scenes with Alpha Live, doing all the camera opping, a bit of producing, a bit of running, and some onboard cameras as well. My highlight of the season has been back at Portimao when we did the 6 hours of Portimao. I was sending some weather updates to Andy and Adam in the comms box, and they absolutely decided to rinse me because everything that I said turned out completely wrong. But that was more down to the Portimao weather than my predictions. But it was a good highlight anyway, getting called out on the stream.
Hey guys, I'm Emilio Pecharic. I'm content producer of the series, and my personal highlight of the season was Valencia, especially because we had a big grid of GT cars, and it was nice to witness Ferrari challenges against GT3s and also DTM drivers against GT World Challenge drivers. So I felt like the level was really high in that particular race, and there was a whole bunch of action through the weekend. So already looking forward for next season. But yeah, that was a blast.
I'm Charlie, mechanic of Resume Modern Racing. My highlight of this season was winning 6 hours of Portimao on the first try with a Pro-Am driver lineup. It was fun, whole season, and we're looking forward to win this one too, so thumbs up and see you next time.
Hi, I'm Adam Weller. I'm the lead commentator for the Gaelic Racing Wind Series, and I think my highlight of the season has to be Cristiano Mathiel, Estoril, race 2, the second race of his career, an overall win for him, and that of course led to the overall championship in the Winter Series. I'm very interested to see what happens next for him and Rui Aguas.
Hi, I'm Will, and I've been here producing this GT Winter Series for the last several weeks. It's been a lot of fun. I'd say my highlight so far has been getting into Valencia nice and early in the morning, seeing the sunrise over the track ahead of a fun-filled weekend of racing. Outside of that, producing, I get to see every single race throughout the whole series, which is always a lot of fun. Get to watch every single race. It can't be bad at all. Apart from that, I'd say working with the fabulous team we have here at Gedlick and Alpha Live has been it's been an honour, and it's been a great few weeks. Hopefully be back again next year.
Welcome down to the pit lane for the final time today and the final time in the 2025 Gedlick Racing Winter Series. Delighted to say that I am joined by both our commentators, Adam Weller and Andrew Mather, here in the pit lane with me. Guys, it's been a fantastic day to close out the season. First of all, Adam, I'm going to come to you first. The 6 hours of Barcelona absolutely delivered.
Yeah, exactly right. The quality of that field is immense when you have teams like GP Elite representing the Cup 2 class. They've won everything there is to win in a Porsche Carrera Cup car. When you've got guys like Razun back again and Simon Birch, I say it every time he's in a car at the moment, but keep watching that boy because he's amazing now, and I dread to think where he'll be in 5 years' time. A brilliant race. That battle for second place went right down to the wire. Just when you think you know all the answers, the weather changes the questions, and we had a real thriller in that final hour.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The last hour of the race, fantastic. So much action going on. Had us right on the edge of our seats, and you could hear in the commentary box that it had the two of you on the edge of your seats as well.
No, it was what endurance racing's all about. That it's a race run over 4 hours. In 6 hours in that case. But when you get a race like that, it's run over 6, but won in the last 30. And we saw those strategies and the 35-minute pit stop time. It all converged at the end. We got lucky, of course, with the rain. But yeah, fair play to everybody involved, and fair play to the drivers as well. Those were not easy conditions when you've got it all on the line to win those trophies. Everyone out there was fantastic today.
Yeah, it was truly fantastic. And a word on SR as well, because a day that really did not start looking very good for them. But J-Mo Hartling in that final stint just gave it everything. And, I mean, ended the day, I think they can be happy given how it started.
If you look back at that issue for the 11 car in the first hour with the fueling problem, who was one of the first mechanics to dive underneath the car? It was J-Mo Hartling, who was at the wheel in hour 6 to take second place. It was J-Mo Hartling. It's something I absolutely love about SR. It is like a motorsport apprenticeship. Yeah. Come and drive, GT cars at some of the best circuits in the world, but don't be afraid to use a spanner too.
Absolutely, a fantastic story. Of course, we have also been joined by TCR Spain this weekend for their first round of the season. And, well, if the 6 hours kept you on the edge of your seat, that one really did, because that was an incredible way to end the day.
And two very different races as well. The one in the morning, Mike Halder, an absolute clinic, showing why he is now the most successful in terms of race wins driver in the history of TCR Spain. He wouldn't have liked how his second race finished, of course, but no, he was superb in that first one. But the youngsters coming through, Eric Genet, if I've got my maths in my head right, leaves here today as the championship leader with that strong result in the first race. But then the second race, in these kind of conditions when you're that young and you've got that name as well that carries a lot of weight in touring car racing. It's one thing to have the name, it's one thing to then deliver with it. And 2 safety car periods. Michael Markson, I heard him when he was coming in and talking with the team, he was like, one more lap, that's all he needed. You know, we can talk till the end of the night whether he would have got through, but Gené's, as I say, determination on that last lap, holding around the outside of Michael when Michael was really strong in that first half of the circuit on those 2 last laps. As I say, you would have thought, looking at that one, that he's not a junior, that he's been doing this for 10, 15 years, and it's his first win. I think there's going to be a few more this season.
Oh yes, absolutely incredible race to watch. Of course, we are at the end of our 2025 Winter Series, but now our focus turns to 2026. Of course, we'll be back in the Winter Series in, I'm not going to work out how many months, but the 2026 season, we look towards that now.
It's about 10, but in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be working on the brochure for the 2026 Winter Series and the Endless Summer. It continues on. You know, it's a very highly dense schedule. We had 7 events in 9 weeks. That's not to mention the race tests that were being held between weekends. That's not to mention the Endless Summers that were sometimes going on concurrently, track days at other circuits while we were doing our Winter Series races. And it's quite a small team at Gedlick, and they put a mighty effort in to make it all happen. And that effort starts maybe Tuesday, maybe not Monday because they'll be travelling home, but they will probably be having a meeting, I kid you not, before the end of the week to make it even better again in 2026.
And I already know that you've had a fantastic first couple of weeks in the Winter Series paddock, haven't you?
Oh, it's been superb. The team have been wonderful. The tracks have been wonderful. I think testament has to go to the tracks. This area and Valencia spring to mind did not have an easy end to the 2024 calendar year and the 2024 motorsport year, but boy were they ready. They were ready for us to come here, to race, to put on a show, and yeah, full hat tip if I was wearing a hat to them. They've been fantastic. Not just at those 2 circuits, Aragon, Estoril, Portimao as well. The hospitality's been fantastic. Roll on 2026.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we do look towards 2026, and a few thank yous are in order. First of all, thank you to, of course, Gedlick Racing, who have put on this incredible show for us the last couple of months. It has been truly incredible to be a part of. Thank you to all our teams and drivers as well. Thank you, of course, to Alpha Live, who have put together all the productions that you have seen on screen, all of our camera ops around the circuit. Joe Sassoon, the roaming camera behind the camera that you see now. Of course, Will and Luke in the production truck doing a fabulous job all season long. So a huge thank you to everyone at Alpha Live for putting together the shows that you are watching now. Thank you to all of our viewers as well. And of course, I can't end without thanking the 2 chaps that stood right next to me. And of course, a shout out to Andy McEwen as well, who was with us for the first half of the season. Adam Weller, Andrew Mather, you have done an incredible job. And I'm incredibly grateful to have shared this time with you. And I can see that Adam wants to say something just quickly, so I am going to give him the mic.
There's no one I'd rather have brave the elements on our behalf than you, Izzy.
That feels like the perfect way to round out our show. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you in 2026.
Cayman or Hartling, but it's down racing. They both go deep into the corner.